up, guys? We are back with another edition of the Zero Hour. Tim Lloyd, Jeff Hobbs. Welcome back. It's been a while, Jeff. Now it's been a minute since we've put something up here on the channel, so it's good to be back with everyone here. Of course, on the lead up to the Underground show in Nashville coming up next Friday night, December the 17th, in the training camp complex, Nashville, Tennessee. We're going to get into it tonight. We've got a great guest to join us here shortly. We've got Boone joining us, and that's a guy that I'm excited to talk to because to me, his is one of the most intriguing fights on this card.
Yeah, hey, next Saturday night, the 17th. Friday.
Oh, my bad. I'm so used to saying Friday nights. I'm sorry. Yeah, that's right.
Hey, don't forget. Remember, we had the customer that showed up at the Joe on Saturday for fights.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, so it's next Saturday night, guys. Next Saturday night, December 17th in Nashville.
That's right, man. Yeah, so we've took a well-deserved break. It's getting right here at the holiday seasons and Thanksgiving, Christmas coming around, so we've kind of taken a little break. But we knew we were coming back to start preview shows for the Underground and talk to some of these guys on the card. But hey, Friday at 2:00 p.m. Central Time too, though, you can swing by training camp in Nashville, Tennessee for the weigh-in. So let's not forget that. But yeah, absolutely, Travell Boone, a very intriguing guy for us to talk to tonight. He's a world-class striker, Muay Thai background. Tim, from experience. Travell's been trying to fight for us, for a long time. Travell's not the easiest person in the world to find fights for. Not a lot of people want to step up there, especially in the kickboxing and Muay Thai world. So Travell decided to fix that and step into the realm of mixed martial arts and say, if we can't find me an opponent, I'll go out looking, I'll step into your world. So definitely, I know we're going to have a lot of good questions for him. There's a lot of things that I know you're going to ask that I'm interested in hearing. I've got some questions for Travell, and I cannot wait to hear his answers.
Awesome. We will bring Travell in right after this message from our good pals, the Warrior Home Improvement. Let's listen to that. We'll be back. Travell Boone will be in the house.
Here at Warrior Home Improvement of Chattanooga, we understand that our customers want to feel confident that they have hired responsible, responsive, and trustworthy contractors to properly do any job ahead to help you maintain your home or business. Our storm restoration specialist team handle all jobs, big or small, inside and out in the event of a weather catastrophe, as well as our asphalt maintenance and striping crew dedicated to making your lot and driveway shine bright. We aim to provide professional customer care because every satisfied customer can potentially lead to another business opportunity. Please look us up on Google or Facebook or give us a call at Warrior Home Improvement today. It all starts with one call.
And we are back with Travell Boone joining us. Travell, how's it going, my man? We're excited to talk to you here. Get ready for that professional MMA debut and just overall MMA debut for that matter coming up next Saturday night. How's it going, my man?
Fantastic. I appreciate you fellas having me on.
Hey, we're excited to talk to you. We appreciate you taking a few minutes out. I'm sure this being the week before, this is the proverbial hell week in the gym, getting those last hard rounds in. So a lot of times, not exactly the best time to talk to guys. So we appreciate you all, joining us here tonight. Let's get into it. Of course, you're going to be making your professional debut next Saturday night in Nashville, Tennessee, Underground 3. Taking on Ahmed Camus, both of you guys in your pro debuts. Before we get into that, though, we'll obviously get into that fight. For the fans that are for the uninitiated, if you will, I'd just like to introduce yourself, let people know your background. Obviously, you're known for world-class Muay Thai striking. You've got a whole lot of experience in kickboxing, already professional win on the highest level of kickboxing and line fights. Tell our folks at home a little bit about yourself, how you got into combat sports, and just a bit of your background. A quick intro.
Well, I'm Travell Boone. I was born in Nashville, Tennessee, North Nashville specifically. I've spent majority of my years here, but I like to think I'm a bit of a nomad. I've lived in 6 or 7 different states, including Hawaii, Texas, North Carolina. You know what I mean? Really, to sum things up, it was just, I was kind of in that same wave of everybody who around. Like, I'm a 90s kid, so when I saw UFC, it was around the time when it was still like I saw the Vale Tudo fights when there was no rules, no weight classes and stuff like that. And I grew up with Bruce Lee, Jackie Chan, and Jet Li. So they were always my favorite, especially like the old school kung fu flicks. You challenge me, you must die. That was always a big thing for me. So when I finally got the opportunity to actually train, my goal, I feel like just like everybody else, is like mixed martial arts. I want to learn everything. I want to do everything. And Anderson Silva was my biggest inspiration, especially on the striking side. So initially, I actually wanted to learn literally everything: Tai Chi, Capoeira, Taekwondo, whatever I could get my hands on. But it ended up turning into, when I had moved to Texas for a time, the gym that I had went to, they were doing like a special on the classes, and I got to do a little bit of everything. And long story short, I ended up getting to do Muay Thai, and I had my first fight within 5 months. The weight cut was terrible, the trip was terrible, the fight was terrible, but I came back and I knew it was just like something in my heart was like, I like kicking people in the head, and it was just the rest is history, as they say. And it was really when I researched traditional Muay Thai and I saw how they carry themselves, how they do combat, and what it really looks like. It something clicked in my brain, and it set me on a journey. 10 plus years now. I've fought. My amateur record was 17-3, I believe. No, 14-3, excuse me. And then my kickboxing record was 2-1. I spent some time over in Thailand, only 3 months. I fought 4 times over there. Technically, I'm undefeated overseas with 2 KOs. Yes, it's been a minute. I'm not trying to fluff it up or nothing like that. I just want to make sure I'm accurate. But Muay Thai has been in my heart. That's been what my focus is. My biggest, even back when I was focused on MMA, before I switched to strictly Muay Thai, my heart was always in striking. I wanted my striking to be primo. I wanted my stand-up I wanted to get to the point to where you might as well take me down, because you're not going to beat me on my feet. And it kind of got to a point to where especially after my pro debut with Lion Fights, I'm just sitting around twiddling my thumbs, hoping for the best. And I didn't get into the sport of Muay Thai to be some type of martial arts snob, like, these guys, they this, that, and the third, MMA, they do this. Like, I respect all arts, because there's, to an extent, when you get to the elite levels, there's a lot of things that a lot of people can't do. I knew where my heart was. I knew my passion was in Muay Thai, and that's what I wanted to do. But again, I got into it to compete. I got into it to push myself. I got into it to test myself. And I don't do well sitting around waiting for somebody to come around. So now it's to a point to where, just like Jeff said, I'm coming to your door now, since I've had to spend this time where I'm being humble. I'm sitting down. I'm waiting my turn. Listening to my coaches. I'm doing the best to stay patient and stay on track, especially with the world and everything that's out of our control. At this point, I have no choice but to start beating down doors, because to an extent, I'm the boogeyman in certain circles, because the martial arts community is small in America. So there's certain pockets that know of me, or at least have heard of me. And if I'm not good friends with them, they don't want to fight me. And then on the flip side, it's pretty much the only really option y'all have is to grapple me. At least that's what y'all think. So I might as well make the change, especially because MMA is the hot ticket in America. I have to acknowledge where I'm at. And unfortunately, the sport of Muay Thai hasn't grown as it should, especially because it's been around longer than MMA. But the general masses don't have as deep a knowledge and or a deepest love for MMA, even though, to be fair, the general populace doesn't know that much. But that comes with the territory, and I respect it, and I can appreciate all fans in any facet. But now it's at a time to where I'm willing to step out there and put myself out to fail, because I feel like there's nothing I can lose. Technically, this isn't my sport, but I'm a warrior. I'm here to fight. It's not about me proving nothing to nobody. It's not about the trash talking or nothing like that. I set out to be the best in combat sports. I wanted to make my name known. I wanted to get out there, and because I'm a dark horse, I have to work harder. I have to work harder than the average person. So here we are.
Hey man, you kind of led me into my next question, and that was, it is unfortunate. You're right that the Muay Thai scene is just not really taken off so much as the MMA scene. And we try to put a couple Thai fights on about every card, and oftentimes they'll steal the show. And there'll be some of the better fights that we'll have. But for whatever reason, it just hasn't had the popularity of MMA. You kind of answered my question. I guess I was going to say, is that why, we're seeing you, dip your toes into the MMA? Is just a lack of opportunity so much in professional Muay Thai? Is this something where, obviously, you just said Thai's your first love. You're still going to pursue that. But is, this MMA debut kind of a precursor to what we could see, more and more of you in the MMA world, trying to stay as busy as possible? Or is this going to be something where you're going to kind of see how it goes, and then, if it doesn't go well, you'll be back to Muay Thai? Or have you dove in head first on this whole, mixed martial arts?
That's a very good question. I kind of laugh at it because I'm at a point to where now, with the work that I've put in on the MMA side, my striking definitely isn't the issue. So with the progress that I'm making with my grappling, it would kind of be ridiculous it's essentially like, you become what is it? Like, I think there's like levels to scuba diving. That's like me becoming a deep sea diver and never getting out in the water. You know what I mean? Like, there's no point in me getting all these skills and then be like, well, that was fun, and setting it back on the shelf. But fortunately, there are promotions that are out there that's doing both. There's not many people that are multi-sport athletes. And again, because I'm having to come with such a unique background and having to approach this in a unique way, it's not even so much I don't have a choice. I just refuse to let a lack of willing participants stop me on my goal. So I look at it like whichever one pops up first, I'll keep taking them. Muay Thai will always be there. It's not like I'll forget how to, strike. And outside of that, it's just a matter of keep working on the holes in my MMA game that I need to change. But I can play around with it. It's definitely not like I'm starstruck on the UFC. Like, I can see through that facade for like a mile away. But fortunately, that's not the only promotion. It's not the only way to make money. It's not the only way to fight. So it'll never go away. Whatever allows me to fight is whatever will get me in the squared circle or in the cage. It'll be something that we'll see how it evolves, but definitely don't take it off the table.
I'll tag out to Jeff here, and he'll usually ask the more off the beaten path questions. And when we come back to me, we'll talk about this upcoming fight. Jeff, I'll tag out to you here. One thing I want to note, you mentioned, hey, the UFC isn't necessarily like the end goal here. I'll say Bellator is a promotion that you will see kind of take a chance on your athletes that are from, other sports. You'll see them take a shot, Raymond Daniels, for example, guys that are stars in other sports and give them a shot on the bigger stage. So just a note there. Jeff, have at it.
Yeah. Before I get into my questions, and again, just a side note on, you both of you talked about, the whole Muay Thai thing. I think one thing that would help, though, in a lot of states, and, including the state that I love of Tennessee, the licensing part of it. I think we would get way more participation if the licensing was easier and not separate, to where a professional MMA fighter or a professional Muay Thai fighter wants to come to MMA to Muay Thai. I do understand boxing license, professional boxing, but, with kicks and knees and things like that, I would love to see the MMA and the Muay Thai professional license kind of married to each other in the state of Tennessee, because I think that would help a lot of MMA fighters that would say, hey, I would love to do a professional Muay Thai fight against a Travell Boone, but I don't want to go spend $400 on another license. So I think that would be one thing that would help. But, you talked about your ground game, Travell, and listen, we're all honest here. And surely at some point, whether it's Ahmed Camus or any other opponent, the story out there is going to be he's a world-class striker. Hey, we've seen Drysdale's jiu-jitsu guys in the cage that it's just not worked out for them once they got punched. We've seen boxers in the cage that it didn't work out for them once they got punched. I'm sure that what other people are thinking is that's his bugaboo. That's going to be the blueprint to beat him. You don't have to give away your game plan. But my first question is, are they going to be surprised at Travell Boone if it goes to the ground? I know I've stepped in Nashville MMA about twice a week for the last month, and I've seen you working on it, and I've seen you looking good in there. I've seen you jerk up a couple of necks a few times. But is this something that you're really going to, if this is what somebody's counting on, are they going to be in for a rude awakening?
I look at it just all the fights are the same. I respect my opponent. I'll never, I've taken my foot off the gas pedal mentally once, and that'll never happen again. My opponents always have my respect because at the end of the day, it could end in any kind of way. And as a martial artist, I like to acknowledge the fact that it's not so much a weakness, it's a non-dominant, or it's not my go-to, but that doesn't mean I'm incapable of learning more. I think it's very interesting that certain people, now granted, of course, there are different examples, but a lot of the times I feel like what the issue is people try to be something that they're not, and they take away from what it is that they've learned to incorporate, as opposed to, melding what you already have with what you're doing, and as opposed to doing a complete 180 and then expecting that you're going to be this world class, like that. That's the beauty of MMA. You have options. There's a lot of in between. There's a lot of gray areas, and I feel like my whole life I've been underestimated. People look at me any kind of way, feel some type of way, but at the end of the day, it all comes down to what happens in the fight. I'm not one to say, oh, you better watch out for this, you better watch out for that. My goal is to cause as much physical damage and harm as possible, regardless of what happens. I'm trying to hurt this dude. Like
Right,
that.
right.
That's the
Well,
only
and
thing.
I've talked to strikers in the kind of same situation as you before, and one thing that they said was, my hands are fast, and guess what? They're still fast on the ground. So my hand speed's not going to diminish. You might have me on my back, or I may be in your half guard. My hand speed's still going to be the same. You're still going to have to deal with it. My final question, really. You have been around for a long time, and you've been coached by a lot of really good coaches in the past, in the Nashville area. Coaches that have come through Nashville MMA, coaches at other gyms that Nashville is one of those hot cities where there's a lot of gyms going on, and you guys sometimes used to cross train at Saturdays. I'll go here. So you've been around a lot of good coaches, and I know you respect everybody that's spent time with you over the years. But there seems to be, when I have visited, a really good connection with you and Coach Dorian Price. What is it? We know his background, and Tim knew his background a lot more than I did, and he's kind of educated me on Dorian's past as well. But you got a coach who still spends a lot of time in Thailand. What has he meant to your training? How has he taken you from a really good fighter with your other coaches to how you feel right now as a fighter, how confident you are? How much of that is due to Dorian Price?
If it wasn't for Coach Dorian coming in 2 years ago, I'd have quit. There's, for people that's been in the sport for a long time, they know that there's a lot of ups and downs. It's a roller coaster. But the people that's been in Nashville for a long time know that there's been a lot of roller coasters. I won't really get into it, but I will say what I've learned is my coaches leading up to Coach Dorian were the coaches that I needed. They taught me a lot about myself. They taught me a lot about my determination, my resolve, my creativity. Some of them helped me out in really tough spots in my life. And they ultimately got to me to this point. But Coach Dorian is the coach I always wanted, because he literally lived the life that I spent 10 years of my life attempting to. That was the reason why I was going to Thailand. He was one of the people I studied when I got into Muay Thai, because as a young black kid from North Nashville doing Muay Thai, there was nobody for me to relate to. So I looked out for people that looked like me, especially people that I could relate to. And for me to have somebody that not only that I was studying, he was able to bring everything that I've worked for, everything that I've traveled for, spent money on, the blood, sweat, tears, it all came full circle because he was kind of he's been the bridge between my experiences in Thailand and like me feeling like a black sheep because I've been so focused on my Muay Thai by myself that it's like the way he explained it is put it best. For people that's never experienced Thailand in itself as a whole, it's like talking about Star Trek, because I can give you stories, I can give you experiences, but there's a language that's created and there's a synergy that's created because his goals and my goals are different, or excuse me, our journey is different, but our destination relatively ends up in the same place. And he's really, not only for my team, for the environment, he's giving me a type of confidence that I feel like I can take on the world. And it's got nothing to do with anything other than the love that he has for the sport, the risks that he was willing to take at his development, as well as my own, that we can relate to. And I know from my research the type of knowledge that he has. One well of knowledge is his own career with upwards of 80 fights that most Americans will never have. The second is he's best friends with and can call literal living legends of the sport to pull knowledge from. And he spent, I think it was 3 years announcing or being an announcer for Max Muay Thai. So he's got to see careers rise and fall, different outcomes, different scenarios. And he gets the props that he deserves as a world-class coach. And the same thing when he first got here, I felt weird that I had to explain them to people, but it's because people don't do their own research. I knew what he brought to the table. I felt like it was what I was missing, because it's got nothing to do with your willingness to coach. It's got nothing to do with, you know what I'm saying, if you are a good person. It's what have you done? What experience do you actually have? Can you translate it? And can you step back and admit when you don't know what you don't know? Even as much as Coach Dorian knows, he knows when to step back on wrestling. He's a purple belt, and he never says anything when it goes to the ground because he passes over to BT, our head BJJ coach. He knows how to put the right pieces together and formulate a plan for everybody. And it to me, there's no way you can't be confident. I got my head coach, I got my BJJ coach, I got my strength coach, I got my solid team. I'm here every day. I don't miss. There's no way you can tell me that there's anything that can stop me. That's why it's like, I'm not afraid to fail. I'm willing to put myself out there because there's no reason for me to have this type of team, this type of backing, this type of support, and for me to sit on my hands. The worst thing I can do is pretend like I'm unbeatable. And the second worst thing I can do is do nothing. And I feel like that's what's been denied me all this time, is I haven't even had a chance to show what I can do. So again, with somebody like Coach Dorian, for everything that he sacrificed for us, the willingness that he has to put himself in front of the fire for us, the fact that he constantly says, like, I'm on the sidelines, I'm here to push y'all, I want to see y'all do well. I feel like I owe him a world championship, because I feel like that's what martial arts has been about. He himself is a part of history, and with the little that I've done, I have my own bit of history, and together we can continue to grow.
I like that answer, man. That's it's very refreshing, honestly, just to hear that state of mind as someone that wants to put themselves out there. We deal with so many people that are the exact opposite. Sadly, that don't want to put themselves out there for fear of failure. Let's talk about this fight, man. Ahmed Kamis, that's who we've got on deck. He's making his professional debut, as well as yourself. He does have 11 amateur MMA bouts, so you do still have more combat experience, we'll say. But 11 fights, it's quite a bit of MMA experience. If you look at his record, he's gone a lot of rounds, I guess you would say. He's win or lose. He's typically in decision fights, so he's had a lot of cage time. What's your take on Ahmed Kamis? What does he bring to the table that you feel like you need to watch out for? Obviously, I think that, the elephant in the room is you're going to have the striking advantage. What if anything, have you seen from Ahmed Kamis that you need to watch out for in this MMA debut?
His willingness to accept the fight. That's about it.
That says something, right?
Like I won't again. I have taken my foot off the gas pedal once in my career, and I acknowledge that, and I'll never let it happen again. So the names, the bodies, they're just names and bodies. To me, everybody has to die. I have to come at it with extreme prejudice because I'm a bit of a dark horse. On one hand, I'm treated like I'm not very good. On the other hand, I'm not a big enough name to be known well. So I feel like, one second. There we go. All right. So on one hand, I feel like I have to do double the work. So I'm not out here to play patty cake. We don't get paid by the hour, and there is no like it's the same thing with like weigh-in antics, like pushing and shoving and cussing. Like we show up to fight. I'm here. Like I don't need to hype myself up. Everybody's a target. Everybody has to die. How you die is up to you. It could be honorable or it could be disrespectful. If you come at me disrespectful, please believe I'm coming right back at you. I'm gonna meet the same energy. If you want to be a warrior about it, then you could die with honor. But everybody in front of me has to fall. I let my team, I let my coaches look at what we need to work on, what we need to be prepared for, and I do the work and I stay focused on my task at hand, and that's ending whoever is in front of me. So who knows? I might choke him out. I don't know. I'm not looking for it. I'm not looking for a knockout. I'm looking to do my job. I want more than a championship belt. I want to put on championship performances every time I step in the cage. I want people to know my name. I want people to understand that anytime I'm in the cage, regardless of what happens, it's going to be something to see. And you either going to respect me or you fear me. Everybody likes options, so you have a choice.
Man, we are super stoked for this. It's going down next Saturday night, December 17th, from the training camp compound in Nashville, Tennessee. You can catch your tickets at fighterticksforthenext.com. Make sure you select Travell as your fighter so he gets a little extra scratch there on the commission. And then, of course, you can catch pay-per-view, spectationsports.com. Travell, I'm going to let you cut a go-home promo is what we're going to call it right here. Why should these people be in Nashville to catch your professional debut next Saturday night? And then send us home with any kind of shout outs you want to give, friends, family, training partner, sponsors. I'll let you have it.
Well, I'll tell you like this. I'm here to inspire people that want to be inspired. I want to entertain people that want to be entertained, and I want to piss off everybody that's not on my team. We here to make it happen. If you want to see something interesting, you want to see some violence, that's all I'm here for. I'm not here to tell you to like me as a person. If you want to get to know me as a person, that's different. But as a fighter, I'm here to bring the action. I consider myself an entertainer. How he fights is how he fights, but I'm coming to bring the pain. I got something to prove. I got something to get off my chest. And I'm telling you now, it's going to be a ball. It's going to be very interesting.
And give those shout outs where they're due, brother.
I just want to give a shout out to my team, Coach Dorian, Tim, BT, everybody that supports me, my mom, my dad, the family, everybody. Glory to the Most High. Like I love all you guys. I appreciate y'all, Tim, Jeff, for having me on. I appreciate y'all's time. Anybody that supports, anybody that doesn't support, and you might got something against me. As long as you buy a ticket, keep the ball rolling. Don't hold it against you. Also, I'm gonna say it again, but I want those to understand that if you feel like you've never gotten a chance in life, but you do everything you're supposed to, let me carry that flag. Let me be that avatar. I will destroy everything that stands in our way. So I'm here for it.
I love the energy. One more time, Travell Boone, you catch his pro debut next Saturday night, the Underground 3, Nashville, Tennessee. Be there, be square. Thanks so much for the time, Travell. We'll see you next week.
Thanks, guys. Have a good one.